Okay, hello everyone. My name is Vic Lee. I'm a co-founder and chief architect of Platform 9. And today I'm delighted to have Arun and Daniel with me. They are tech leads in our Platform 9 Managed Kubernetes project. And today they're here to talk to us about a new tool that they've built called etcdadm. So I'll start with Arun. Very briefly, tell me what etcdadm is.
Right, so etcdadm is a simple to use kubeadm like CLI tool that is used to stand up or bring up etcd and manage etcd's lifecycle on a particular host.
Okay, and why is etcd important in the Kubernetes world?
Right, so that's something that isn't spoken quite widely in the community. So Kubernetes uses etcd, the distributed key value store, to store all of the control plane information, node information, the part that runs workloads, all of that information is stored in an etcd cluster. So for Kubernetes to run, etcd needs to be set up first. And so etcd is more or less like a backbone for data store for Kubernetes.
Okay, now Daniel, what's challenging about setting up and configuring etcd?
Sure. So if you are setting up a single node etcd cluster, which is the sort of simplest way to go about things, then all you have to take care of is the tasks on a specific host, but that includes actually installing the etcd binary, potentially running it as a systemd service or in a container, creating and configuring certificates if you want whatever client is using etcd, and in this case the Kubernetes control plane to access the etcd securely, and then if you want etcd to be highly available and to tolerate the failure of one or more members, then you actually need to correctly sequence bringing up hosts, bringing up members, and then once they're up, as you are bringing down hosts for maintenance or adding additional hosts, you have to make sure that you are communicating with the etcd API, etc. So etcdadm takes on all of those tasks for a specific host.
I see. Now, Arun, you mentioned kubeadm, and that's a tool that the community is very familiar with for installing and setting up Kubernetes clusters.
Right.
Doesn't kubeadm solve some of those problems, or does it take care of etcd at all? And then how does etcdadm kind of fit into that picture?
So kubeadm today is more or less the most sought out or used way to bring up Kubernetes clusters. It does in some way or form bring up etcd. So, but what it does today is bringing up a single etcd instance on a particular host when you bring up a cluster. kubeadm itself is very concentrated or looked upon in bringing up Kubernetes itself, rather than going into the management of etcd work. So there is a way to bring up etcd, but not in a production quality way. So whereas etcdadm, with that, what we see is we are able to bring up an etcd cluster which is secure across multiple hosts. And since kubeadm has a way to use an already present or brought up etcd cluster, we can use etcdadm to bring up a cluster which is secure with certs, and then ask kubeadm to use that etcd cluster and then bring up Kubernetes.
I see. So in the future, Platform 9, we're probably going to release more detailed webinars and presentations on the inner workings of etcdadm and how to use it. But Daniel, can you walk us through some high-level overview of how somebody would use etcdadm, and what kinds of tasks are available and what can they achieve and what problems can be solved?
Absolutely. So the first task that comes to mind is just initializing a single node or single member etcd cluster, and that's what etcdadm init does. So this is, if you're familiar with kubeadm, this is similar to kubeadm init. Once you run etcdadm init on a specific host, that will generate the necessary certificates. It will start the service. It will download the etcd release that you specify, make sure everything's running and healthy. At that point, if you want to grow or scale your cluster, then all you need to do is copy over a couple of certificates to the next host that you want to join the cluster, and run etcdadm join. And etcdadm join will call to the existing cluster, and it will make sure that the new member is added in the correct sequence, and then bring up this new member. And at that point, you'll have a 2-member cluster. Now, you may also want to remove one of the members, and you can run etcdadm reset on either host to do that. And then finally, if you have an existing etcd backup or a snapshot, you're able to use etcdadm to bring up a cluster from that backup.
Oh, interesting. So I'll stay with you, Daniel. In terms of the overall stack and the relationship with other tools in the community, where does etcdadm fit into the larger picture, and how do you see it evolve going forward?
So etcdadm solves a very specific problem, and that is a sequence of tasks that an operator needs to perform on a specific host. But it does not orchestrate it does not orchestrate and does not automate the operation of an etcd cluster. Now, there are solutions like etcd operator, which runs on a Kubernetes cluster, which does automate the operations of an etcd cluster, but that is predicated on the fact that you already have a Kubernetes cluster running, which is predicated on the fact that you have an etcd cluster running. So, if you outside of a Kubernetes cluster, there really aren't there's not a large set of tools. Everybody is trying to solve this in their own way. There is a community project that's in progress called etcd Manager that is being used by the cluster lifecycle tool COPS, and that project could, for example, so it orchestrates and automates the operation of an etcd cluster, but it could, for example, delegate some of the tasks to etcdadm.
Very cool. Arun, what is the release status, and if somebody wants to take a look or play with etcdadm, where can they go and find it?
Right, so etcdadm is open source and it's on GitHub. Right now it lives under the Platform 9 organization, so github.com/platform9/etcdadm. We are currently in the alpha stages, looking for people to adopt it, use it, give us feedback, and kind of help or work with us to look at what the future holds for etcdadm itself.
Wow, very cool. Well, thank you very much, Arun and Daniel. So once again, this was a brief conversation about this new tool, etcdadm. And for more information, please visit our webpage at platform9.com. Thank you.